I think I'm ready to call it a season on the Calgary Flames after their last two games against the Ottawa Senators, um, dropping both games in disappointing ways at different times, but it really just comes down to goal scoring. I mean, so the first game, Ottawa went up 1-0 early, and then Calgary was very dominant throughout most of the rest of the game. And we'll get back to this when we talk about Leaf Sens, but the Senators did a very good job of protecting the middle of the ice and keeping the Flames from having any like real grade A scoring chances. A lot of perimeter shots, but credit to Calgary. They stayed in it. They managed to find a goal off a breakaway pass from Lucic. So not able to like generate that scoring chance in the offensive zone already. And 1-1, but then Ottawa, man, this team just fucking hangs in there and finds a way to score. And they take it in what ends up being a bit of a heartbreaker against Calgary. But it's really the second game that has me ready to call a lid on their season. They know what they didn't do right going into that second game. They didn't get the puck into the middle of the ice and like generate any real threatening scoring chances. They looked like they were poised to do that in the first period against the Sens. They start playing a bit better, and then they even find a goal in the second period with a Giordano shot, and all they've got to do is close out, which they've done all season. They hadn't dropped a game yet when they're leading going into the third period, and then the Senators just take over in the third period. I mean, they get one goal, okay, fine, but it was really after that the Flames just they should have been playing for their season in that moment, tied 1-1 in the third period against the last place team in the division, already having like such a mountain to climb. They need to start making up for it, let alone adding more to that mountain. And the third period was just all Senators. I mean, their 2-1 goal came off of like a 3+ minute shift from Noah Hannafin, where I think they had another player like past the 2 minute mark, and everyone else was like a minute 30 by the time that goal went in. But just like fantastic dominant zone pressure from the Senators that was just the accumulation of a great forecheck in third period where Calgary got nothing going, and that was kind of the goal culminated that moment. But that even before that, you just like you're playing for your season, man. You've got to be the dominant team in that third period, and they weren't. And then even after that goal, they just really the urgency, the pressure, the forechecking, none of it was where it needed to be. They weren't generating those scoring chances in the middle of the ice. Um, I they've struggled the most against the Senators this season of any team. So there's something to be said maybe for it being a bad matchup, but I just the way they played in that second and third period, um just kind of like a defeatist attitude it seemed like. And Daryl Sutter, I maybe it's a bit too early to call it, but this is a team that's season struggle has been goal scoring, and Daryl Sutter has like shored up this team as like having a better forecheck, finishing their checks more, being more defensively solid. Not the kind of coach that's able to spark the goal scoring, it seems like. So maybe it's a bit early to call it a poor move, and we see if he can take this team in the right direction come this off season and get the mentality to a place where it wants to be. But yeah, I feel pretty ready to say the Calgary Flames are absolutely not going to be in the playoffs this season and drop them out.
Yeah, it's tough. This is the second straight season where they've had to switch coaches halfway through the year. That's obviously going to have a pretty big impact on the way that your team operates and plays their games and the style that they come with. I guess if you're general manager of the Calgary Flames, you are looking at possible trade scenarios at this point. Definitely a team that could sell and get a lot of assets for their top guys. Monahan, Kachuk, Gaudreau, you probably want to hang on to at least one of those guys because they're still really young, but they definitely have some pieces that would interest other teams. And so just something to think about. And I feel bad for Calgary fans, but this is just feeling a bit like a toss away season with all the coaching troubles you've gone through in the past. You got to hope that at least Sutter establishes a good rapport with the team and something that they can move forward with so that they're not looking to make another change by the time the season's over.
Yeah, I do not envy the GM. I mean, on paper, this should be a playoff contending team. They've got the talent, but it doesn't really feel like it's getting much better. And you're not getting the draft picks. You're doing well enough to not get like the top draft picks to keep bolstering the roster. Mark Giordano, your captain and longtime best defenseman at 37. So that's the defensive core is only getting worse. Bennett didn't work out. Gaudreau seems to be stuttering. Guys like Lucic getting older. You've got Monahan and Chakak if you want to try and build the team around those two. But some tough decisions for the office and what direction to go. And I do not envy them.
No, sir.
But
Another team. Yeah. Sorry, you go ahead.
this Ottawa Senators team, man, I don't know what to make of them. I mean, they've looked like crap against some teams, and they've looked like such a promising team against others. Most of all against the Flames and our Leafs, and I saw a lot of the same things from the Senators team that I saw against the Flames, with in some areas only marginally better performance by the Leafs. They do kind of turtle and shell up defensively, focusing on like not getting the best breakouts, but just protecting their end, like five guys back so that there's not going to be many odd man rushes, keeping the play at the perimeter and really like clogging up the middle of the ice. I did think the Leafs did a better job of generating scoring chances in the middle, most notably probably they off the turnovers is one area Ottawa's for sure going to have to work on, the breakouts, but they just protect the net, shell up, and then just fucking find a way to score. It's oh, that was a tough one.
Yeah, they're having a classic rebuilding team year, right? Where you have these moments throughout the season that the fans can latch onto. You've got a couple of young, talented players that the fans can really key in on and watch their development. And every result that you get is a positive. If it's a win, great, you're working towards something. If it's a loss, great, we're getting closer to that high pick that we want moving forward. It's nice to not have expectations. Obviously, you want to win and be a top contending team because that is definitely more fun. But there's something to be said when there's no expectations on a team and you can just kind of enjoy every result that you're getting. Um, can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Why are the Sens backup goalies progressively becoming greater Vezina candidates as they go deeper into their uh like sack of just stuff that they throw out on the ice? Philip Gustafson, and then last night against the Leafs, Anton Forsberg, who hadn't played in the NHL yet this season. He has been an NHL goalie in the past, but just it's like they went from Matt Murray, who has been brutal this year for them, and it's like they got Marty Brodeur and Patrick Waugh backing him up
Yeah,
in Ottawa. Is crazy.
I'm wondering if we see a trade out of Ottawa come, because they've got Murray as their guy long term, and now with Gustafson and Forsberg, who I mean, you want to see more out of them, but I mean, Gustafson was playing so well against Calgary. The question was, do you just go to him like back to back nights? Because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then Forsberg comes in and gives him some contention for the job.
Yeah.
Such a good problem to have for the Senators with,
Mm.
oh, just, I mean, it does partly go to the defensive team identity I'm talking about. They do manage to limit a lot of the scoring in the middle of the ice, and I think the numbers do get a bit padded from a lot of perimeter shooting, but both goalies certainly had their moments over the past weeks with some stunning saves.
and even Joey Decor, who's now injured, but was a kid who came in and got his first win against the Leafs. So just the Senators throwing goalies out there and they're sticking.